Alright, we're looking at figure 564, and to do 564 it's very similar to the last one we just did. I want to start off by getting what I call the music note, or the sideways D. So I'm going to get the sideways D first, and then I'll be adding the circles and such after the fact. So I've got a 7 by 3V by 1 1/8 tall. So I'm going to come over here, I got to go to my isometric snap. I'll start off by drawing a line back at 7. I already forgot the number. We're going to go to the right at 3. And then it was 1, and I think it was 1 1/8 tall. Yep, 1 1/8 tall right there. So I will go up at 1 1/8. I'll come back over at my 3. Go ahead and come down. And I'm going to get this back edge to the part. The back edge says I'm up 3, but it doesn't give me a measurement across the body right here. Well, what we got to look at there is that it says that this big arc right here is a radius of 1 5/8. So if it is a radius of 1 5/8, I can do 1 5/8 twice, or I could go 1 5/8 plus 1 5/8 is 2 10/8. 2 10/8 is 3 2/8, which is 3 1/4. So that line right there is 3 1/4, or I could have went 1 5/8 to the center point and then another 1 5/8 to the side. So I'm going to go up 3. I got to control E it, come back out 3 1/4. And then I don't know how far down to go. It doesn't make a difference, because I'm just going to connect the dots over and then pull them back. I don't need to know those measurements. Kind of like the last drawing we did, I'm going to hit copy. I'm going to copy the thickness of this part from here to here to here to here. I'll go ahead and throw in the outside looking lines. And now what we need to do is get this arc on top of the part. Well, again, we know it's 1 5/8 because I just told you that we're going to come from this corner over 1 5/8 and then over another 1 5/8 to get the 3 1/4. But we really don't need to know that, but we got to draw an ellipse. So I'm going to go EL enter, I enter for iso circle. Then it says specify the center point right here. As I pull the circle out, it better be to this point right here. There is my iso circle. I'm going to copy this iso circle from the front of the part to the back of the part. And in essence, I could really come back and erase these two lines right now. We have to connect these two circles up here from the quadrant to the quadrant. And now I got to trim out the bottom edge of those circles. So I'll hit trim, select everything, and we'll get out the bottom edge of these circles. That won't be there. Now I'm going to leave this line in there only to have the center point. And now we've got to get the circle looking pieces that are on the flat part of it. If we look in this area right here, it says we have a 1 1/2 inch diameter, a 2 inch counterbore that's a 1/2 inch deep, both holes. So in other words, both of these are the same. What it says is that we've got a 2 inch counterbore that goes down a 1/2 inch. So the biggest circle here is 2 inches, and it comes down a 1/2. The smallest circle is a 1 1/2 inch diameter that goes all the way through the part. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go EL enter, I enter. From here, I'm going to go to D enter, 2 enter, because we have a diameter at 2. I'm going to repeat my ellipse, I enter, and I've got a D enter of 1 1/2. So I've got a 2 inch circle and a 1 1/2 inch circle. It tells me my center point's over 1 1/2. So I'm going to come over from this point over 1 1/2. And then I'm going to do it EL enter, I enter. I got to control E it to do a D enter at 2. I'll repeat it. I got to do an I enter from here, D enter 1 1/2. So now I've got my 2 inch and my 1 1/2 inch circles on each one of these parts here. Well, once again, when we went back to the actual part, it says that the 2-inch circle was down 1/2 inch. So what we have to do is copy this circle right here, both of them, down 2 inches. So I'm going to go to copy. So select objects, I'm going to select them both. Right click. As I specify a base point, we can be anywhere on the screen here. Left click, and I just want to make sure that it's going straight down, and it's not, so I got to Control E it to go straight down, and it basically says how far do you want to copy it down. 0.5, enter. Now it looks a little funky still, because really this top small circle is not there, and now I need to trim out the bottom halves of that circle. Now that shows you the 1/2 inch depth for these circles. We got to do the same thing here. I'm going to go to copy these 2 circles. You can click anywhere on the screen. I'm going to go back at 1/2. I'm going to erase the small circle off the top part, and then I will trim the outside. So right there that shows 564, the circles and the depth, and 564 is completed.